Hey everyone, it's Leo Young here, and wow, some new news from Marvel. Well, Sony. So let's go right into it. Since sharing the rights of Spider-Man with Marvel, Sony has gone into a frenzy to create their own cinematic universe using major Spider-Man characters, that type of stuff. Recently announced, Sony is adding a new and highly unexpected property to their roster of what would you even call this? The Spider-Man shared universe? I wouldn't even call it that because Spider-Man isn't in it. So the character they're adding is Morbius the Living Vampire. And for comic book fans, that's kind of like where is that even coming from? Wow, don't get me wrong, Sony. I'm very excited to see how you do it, especially with your Venom movie coming up, but let's leave that for the end. From THR, the movie script is being written by Burke Sharpless and Mark Sanza. The duo is known for movies such as Power Rangers, Dracula Untold, and Gods of Egypt. Though little else is known of the movie, it will be Sony's third announced spin-off based around Spider-Man characters. There's no word on what direction the movie will take or possible actors or a release date in mind, but with the R rating that Venom is getting, it's not too far-fetched to say that Sony is not afraid to put the horror story behind Morbius onto the big screen. What is known, however, is that there is no plan to connect Morbius with the MCU's Spider-Man, from Tom Holland. At least for now. Created by Roy Thomas and Gil Kane, Morbius debuted in Amazing Spider-Man 101. Fun fact, that was the first comic of Spider-Man that Stan Lee had not written. Michael Morbius was afflicted with a blood disease that he tried to cure, keyword, try. The result was him gaining superhuman abilities related to that of a vampire, or vampirism if you're going to feel special. However, he would keep a moral sense of justice throughout a good chunk of his time as a creature of the night. The character has also appeared in a number of works involved in Spider-Man, such as the animated series from the 90s, and name dropped in the Amazing Spider-Man, the video game, and a couple other things. So that's about all the news for it. Now, again, this is from the left field. This is their third movie. The other movie was Silver and Black, which is a Black Cat and Silver Sable movie. And you don't know who Silver Sable is, that's totally fine. And the Venom movie that everyone's talking about. Now there's Morbius. This movie comes right out of left field because if you would think like maybe Spider-Woman or honestly I don't know. I've never been a big fan of this whole shared Spider-Man universe because there's talks that there is no Spider-Man. There's just the characters, or there's a different Spider-Man, or there's also the Miles Morales CGI movie, which I'm not saying anything, but Morbius is I like the character. I don't know a lot about him. I remember him from the 90s animated show, and they had to dull him down. He could only drink plasma, which of course comes from blood, but they wanted to make it child friendly. This character, like I said, the fact that they're giving Venom an R rating for the film, it does make me wonder, maybe Marvel, Fox, and Sony having different, sections of Marvel is a good idea, because no offense, Marvel, I love you, but I do not ever expect you to do a horror film. Fox is throwing the New Mutants into a horror type of franchise. Spider-Man might be going in an R-rated direction, maybe, because Venom, Carnage, the symbiotes themselves are generally aggressive and dangerous creatures. And Spider-Man does he does have some very violent villains compared to a lot of the other characters. The X-Men, of course, definitely have violent villains, but unless Fox is ready to become that movie franchise that just throws the most horrific storylines, such as when the Purifiers ran up on the Xavier Institute after M-Day, if they're ready to do stuff like that, that would be a great way to differentiate it. Because Marvel movies are campy and fun, so let's make Fox movies a little bit darker, a little bit more aggressive and threatening. Like though Deadpool was a R-rated film, it was also a very funny action comedy with Ryan Reynolds. That was a great movie. Let's do stuff like that. Let's differentiate these Marvel cinematic movies like that. All the DC movies were all grim and dark until Wonder Woman, kind of. Don't forget, World War I was not that fun. And for Spider-Man, well, I'm not sure how Marvel's planning to go ahead with Spider-Man, but these are, I'm guessing these small characters that Sony plans on using are characters that Marvel's looking at and they're like, there's no way we can add them. Especially Black Cat. There's no way that they could add Black Cat at this point, maybe because if they do, they might have to touch on the whole romantic relationship between Peter Parker and Black Cat, or Felicia Hardy. And Peter's a little too young for that, so it does make sense that they would not use her. And Morbius, like I said, Morbius has a very dark type of story. It's not, and I feel like that's the reason they got Sharpless and Sansa, is because Morbius is they did the vampire Dracula Untold, so maybe they have a good handle on this. But at the same time, if you saw what I was reacting to when I was naming off those movies, they're not the greatest. I think they also wrote Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunter. I'm sorry. So they're not they write good movies. Well, Power Rangers was a good movie if you ask me. Anyways, that's all I really got on the news. There's nothing else. If there's anything, like I said, there's no release date or anything. But since Venom is set to release next year and Silver Sable is planned to release 2019, there is the possibility that this movie may release in 2017, but we're going to have to keep an eye out for that. Anyways, I hope you guys did enjoy. I hope you found this informative. If you did, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button to get access to our notification gong. If you want to support the channel, like, comment, share with friends and family. Once again, I'm Leo Young, and I have to remind you because I have a very forgettable face and voice. Hope you guys did enjoy. See you in the next one.